You're blind, you must be out of your mind.
6 months of the
He said,
he lives by the television set.
so he said he's out.
If you see an animal, how does he look? I forget. 6 months out of every year, and we go for them and never pay. Instead of praising our goals, we're praising the little we get.
He's out. Strike the light. You're on all time. Bye. What are we waiting for? April, May, June, July, August, September.
And now your Joe has to go, but he'll come back to you again. So sleep your sleep, old girl. Our love will keep, old girl, till then.
All right, cab's waiting.
Oh my God. Did you? I don't believe this. Wham! And now your Joe has to go, but he'll come back to you again. So sleep, old girl. Our love won't keep, old girl, till then. Goodbye, old girl. My old girl. Goodbye.
What do we got? What do we got? We've got heart. All you really need is heart. We've got hope. Us to sit around and go. What?
Soap on a roll.
What do we got? What do we got? We got heart. Miles and miles and miles of heart. Oh, it's like to be a genius, of course. But keep that old horse before the car.
Oh, my Joe's pop bottles flying. The hitters and booze. The team that's been consistent. Now we always lose, but we're laughing 'cause
We've got heart. We've got heart. We've got
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you. Make up your mind to have no regrets. Recline yourself, resign yourself, you're through. I always get what I aim for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. No use to fight, don't you know you can't win?
We're two lost souls on the highway of life, and there is no one with whom we would rather. Ain't it just great? Ain't it just grand? We got each other.